What's up guys, Jermaine here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I do welcome you here. I talk all things finance related. So recently I did a video showing the aftermath on one of my rental properties where my tenant had moved out of my actual first rental property that I ever bought, and it was a tenant that had been renting this property for a little over 2 years, and showing the aftermath of when they decided to move out. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to link that in the description below. It's called My Tenant Just Moved Out, and it gives the complete aftermath. And boy, was it a mess, just to say the least. But, you know, if you want to check it out, if you haven't seen it, just to give you up to speed, up to date, it's in the link description below. So basically, I had a tenant that was there for 2 years. Very good tenant. They paid, you know, rent on time, never had any issues with them, never had any complaints, nothing, until they decided to leave. They gave a 2-month notice, I believe it was like a 2-month notice, but then they decided to leave. Once they left, my property manager was able to get in there, and boy, oh boy, was it a mess. But again, I'm not going to go through everything that, you know, happened again on this video, but if you want to see what happened, again, check out in the link description below. But so I got everything done in this property, and I learned a lot of lessons along the way, you know, as far as just doing renovations in properties and things to do going forward, as far as materials to use and stuff like that. And I would say one of the most valuable lessons that I've learned that I can pass on to you guys that are real estate investors or thinking about getting into real estate is to, anytime you budget for something that you're going to do as far as work related and getting your property ready for the next tenant, always think that it's going to go over budget at least 25%. I don't care where you are, how good you think you are, how much you crunch the numbers. Something's going to come up. Somebody's going to give you an idea or something and say, hey, do this. And I mean, it's going to make sense at the time, because sometimes when you do certain things, it makes sense to do it at that time instead of wait till later to have to go back in and then it costs more. So I'm going to go over the house and show you what it looks like now that all the renovations is done. And then once I'm finished going through the house to show you the renovations, we'll go over the numbers and show you how much it costs and everything and all the expenses and where I'm currently at now with the property. So let's begin where we started. I'm going to walk through the house the same way I did it on the last video and start off at the entrance in the living room. So as you can see here, this is the living room where you could come in. Now the living room, I didn't change the flooring. I left the flooring as it was because here we didn't have any issues as far as like carpet or anything, or, you know, ridiculous stains or water damage or anything like that. So to cut down on costs, I left the flooring as is. I did go ahead and paint the living room and, you know, give the mantle here a nice coating, as well as the fireplace, and put in a new light fixture just to give it a more of a modern look here. Next, we're going into the kitchen area. The kitchen area right here, well, before you get into the kitchen area, you see like the dining room area right here. Again, I left the flooring here as is. It was no need to change it because this wasn't one of the part of the areas of the house where the flooring had to be done. So again, to cut down on costs, left it as is. Here also, again, changed the light fixtures on the top and also painted on the walls here. As far as the cabinets, we just went over the cabinets just to give it that new fresh look, and the counters and everything cleaned here. The stove and all of this cleaned up. If you saw the last video, you saw how much of a mess, you know, the stove and the kitchen was. It was a complete disaster, but, you know, it gives it like a nice finished look now, you know. And I think with the paint really helped it out a lot. And also adding new light fixtures throughout the home, as you will see, gave it more of a modernized look without having to really, you know, go over budget and go crazy. I didn't change appliances. I left the appliances as is in the kitchen and decided just to clean it up, just so that, you know, again, we didn't have to go crazy as far as the budget, but I still end up going over budget anyway, which I will show you the numbers on it later. So going next throughout the house, we're going to go into the bathroom. We have one of the bathrooms here I'm going to show you downstairs, and this was one of the bathrooms I did go through in the other video. And here I cleaned it up and got the sink and everything cleaned up, painted up in here. Also changed the lighting, got this cleaned up and got the mirror done. Here in this part of the house, I did start changing flooring, and I kept it the flooring the same as I went throughout the house. I took up all the carpet here. I will never do carpet again, and I'm going to get into the reason why, on why you should never do carpet. But yeah, you got the sink here and all of that's cleaned up. Toilet here. As you remember in the last, if you saw the last video, I had a plunger that they left in the tub. I couldn't tell you why there was a plunger in the tub, but yeah, we got the tub all cleaned up now. Give it like that nice glaze instead of having to take out the entire tub and change all of that. And the bathroom is much more cleaner now than what it was. Now, going back to where I was saying with the carpet issue, you never really want to put carpet down when it comes to a rental property. And the reason being is carpet, yes, it's cheaper up front to put carpet down. And I do understand if you are a new real estate investor, you want to go with the cheaper routes because, you know, that's all you can afford as far as, you know, money is concerned. But it will cost you in the long term changing carpet, because if you have, like, say, a property that for whatever reason has a high turnover and tenants stay for 1 to 2 years, more than likely every time those tenants leave, you are going to end up changing carpet, because tenants destroy carpet. They destroy carpet. Two things I'm always having to do when it comes to, you know, a tenant leaving is changing carpet, doing floors, and painting. Always. So anytime a tenant leaves, I always say, okay, now I'm going to be doing painting. But I'm going to eliminate the part with the carpet issue, is because all my rental properties now, as tenants leave, I'm not putting carpet down anymore. I'm going to put down like a vinyl plank flooring, you know, something that is not carpet, but that it won't get torn up, so I won't constantly be changing, and it can last, you know, through multiple tenants. You know, sometimes I get lucky to where I do get a tenant that stays, you know, a couple years or whatever, but it's been times where I've had certain properties where tenants stay for a year, 2 years max, and then by the time I get the property back, those floors are destroyed. And that was the issue here, because there was so much pests and stains and garbage and stuff left on that carpet that it was completely destroyed, and I had to change it up. So no more carpet. But so let's go upstairs now and see how the bedrooms and the hallways look upstairs. So here is going out of the kitchen area and going into the hallway to go to the staircase. Next, you have the staircase going up to the upstairs part of the house. As you see here, I removed carpet from the stairs here as well and put new flooring down, as well as painted here. Painted throughout the entire house. I left no expense with that. That's something I do like, is to give fresh paint to all the tenants when they move in. And then here you have the upstairs part when you come upstairs from the staircase, and the hallway upstairs. As you can see here, painted everywhere again, and the new flooring that you see laid out here, the entire upstairs was done flooring. It was all carpet upstairs. That has all since been torn up, and new flooring has been put down in the entire upstairs portion of the house, as well as the staircase and partial parts of downstairs. Now, once you come into the master bedroom, you can again see the fresh floors that was done and the fresh painting that was done. Also, I put up new doorknobs that was on the doors and cleaned up the door. It was a complete mess there. And also the closets, you can see here, everything's cleaned up, and they have the windows here that's been treated and cleaned. You know, gives it a nice, fresh, natural sunlight that can come through. Also, new light fixtures that was put up in the bedroom as well. That's the tour of the house, of what you can see of what it looks like now compared to what it looked like before. It's a completely 360, completely, totally different house of what it looks like. It was a completely full of trash, garbage, infestation of pests. It was a complete mess. Now, let me show you of how much it actually cost me to get this done. But before we get into that, I do want to say I was able to get this done in a very quick amount of time. It took me less than a month to get all of this done, from what it looked like before in the condition that it was in to what it is now. So although it was pretty expensive, it did get done in a quick amount of time, so that way I'm able to put it back on the market and get a new tenant in there quickly. So this is how much it cost. Now, as you can see here, this is the breakdown from the receipt. So first thing we had to do was to remove all trash and items left behind by previous tenant. That cost me $465 plus tax, with a total of $497.55. That was just to get the trash out. We haven't even started on any of the work yet. That right there cost me like $500 just cleaning up the trash. Next, we had a list of all the things that had to be done in the house, from replacing the missing 18-inch towel wall bar upstairs in the bathroom, to fixing the vinyl in the kitchen sink, new kitchen faucet, the painting, the floors, the smoke detectors, replacing the 3 ceiling fans, but I tore those down and put up new light fixtures in the house. Also adding the 14 bulbs that needed to be into the bathroom, to install 4 new brushed nickel-plated flush mounts lights in the hallways and kitchen. So all of that totaled $13,125. Now, that was also including, well, also not including the trash removal, and then also I had to bring an exterminator in there twice, was cost me $200. So I was closer to like $14,000 when it came to doing this whole project over. And I mean, I'm just gonna say I'm glad that it's over with, that now I can actually breathe easy to say that yes, there is a new tenant in this house. I was able to get a new tenant within the amount of days, thanks to my property manager, who's aggressive at finding tenants for my property, as well as properly vetting them to make sure that I'm not just bringing in somebody who's just not going to pay any rent, but is going to pay on time, but also is going to enjoy the property and hopefully treat it as theirs and respect it much better than the last tenant. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for coming, and always, until next time, peace.